what's the answer? The answer is socialism. We need to democratize the economy. Workers should own the means of production. Workers should own their workplaces, not the corporations should use it to buy every lever of power in our society and steal the wealth that we create when we go into our jobs and then pay us to fucking run. We are past the point where we can just vote this out because the politicians don't even respect us anymore. They won't listen to us because their whole financial careers are dependent on these capitalists who are their donors.
Don't make that line be one.
Nigga really said, don't make that line between left and right because I'm going to choose the right each time. Like, what the fuck is he talking about, bro? I don't give a fuck, Dean. Go be a fucking Nazi. Like, nah, that's actually good. Mm, that's another good video. Yeah, there's a lot of good YouTube videos that's getting recommended for me right now. I wanna be your man. I wanna be your man. Wanna be your man. Yeah. I wanna be your man. I wanna be your man. I should be straight. Yeah, I should be straight. I went live at 3:14. Hey. Just gonna wait for some people to join. Hopefully they do. What up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Nah, bruh, dude just got lynched in Mississippi, dog. Like, no bullshit. Like, this country is actually going to shit, bro. Like, it's been shitty, but, like, it's really finna go to shit. Because most people don't even know, like, racism is this alive. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're still in their bubble. Motherfuckers think they like white people just woke up one day and was like, we're just gonna stop killing black people. Like, no, that ain't how the world work. Ain't how the world work. Nah, I saw this. This is a real cool video, bro. I'm thinking about watching. Oh yeah, Twitch denied my fucking appeal, bro. So we'll be back on Twitch in like 3 weeks. We'll be back on Twitch in like 3 weeks. I want to watch this shit.
Did Charlie Kirk know what happened to him, and did he experience any pain? We're not going to show parts of the video of what happened to him, and I don't recommend that you watch it because it's quite graphic.
Do not go looking for the video of Charlie Kirk. Please, for the love of God, do not go look for that video.
But I will be...
Well, these white people is freaking out, boy. Somebody just joined, Carl. Oh, what up, Luke? Harley! Alright, bro. You tripping, bro. You tripping, bro. This is why we are off Twitch right now. This is the exact reason why we're off Twitch. Niggas, they said you little niggas need to shut the fuck up.
Generally discussing what happened to better answer the question of whether Charlie knew what happened to him and if he experienced any pain. First, my thoughts and prayers are with Charlie's family and friends.
All right, bro.
Is at Utah Valley University's campus.
Bro, you sound low as hell, dog. You hear me, Lucas? Bro, turn that mic up, nigga.
This sound better?
Yeah, turn that mic up.
This sounds
The school
better.
seems to lean moderate
niggas is
conservative. Charlie had his famous tent set up like he's done countless times at other colleges.
How we doing, Washington State? How we doing, Michigan State? All right, you guys know how
Yep, we can't ask this nigga how he... Never mind.
it works. If you want to ask a question, we have a line forming here. If you disagree, you can go to the front of the line.
And there were thousands of people eager to hear Charlie Kirk answer questions from the audience.
That's a lot of people, you tell you what. We're going to be here for a couple hours. Get comfortable.
I'm going to the Charlie Kirk event. The parking lot across the street is slammed. This place is going to be packed, and I knew it would be. I don't know if I'm going to ask a question or anything yet. I got a couple written down.
He's been doing this for years.
These niggas was nervous to ask this nigga questions, bro. Like, what the fuck? Niggas, I'm getting my questions together to ask Charlie. Like, nigga, shut up. Shut up.
This stay Deruba, bro. Leave him alone.
Huh?
Leave him alone. This
What
stay
you say?
Deruba.
Like, bro, dude talking about some, I don't know what questions I'm going to ask him.
Going to different colleges across the country, filming it, putting it on social media, which if you have been at all on social media, I'm sure you have seen.
Who are you?
Well, important enough for you to come up to a microphone. You said, well, I'm worried about some laws Congress should pass. I passed. What laws are you talking about? Can you be specific?
I'm sorry, I'm very nervous.
And this event at Utah Valley University was his first of the new school year, to verbally debate mostly young college students who strongly agree.
Niggas was throwing MAGA hats. I bet you them niggas gonna resell them hats and be like, Charlie Kirk threw it to me. I bet my bottom dollar, like, that's gonna be a large reselling rig now.
Or disagree with him and everything in between. Charlie's Turning Point USA team even did this little TikTok skit before the event.
Okay, guys, we're back. Did you miss us? Because we missed you.
They were so excited that they were starting off another season of Charlie Kirk talking to students at different colleges.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
His next stop was actually Colorado State University on September 18th, and I was...
Ooh, this nigga haircut was ass. This nigga haircut was shitty, boy. Like, look at this shit.
His next stop was actually Colorado
Like, what the fuck is going on, bruh? This nigga lining, like,
State
bro, his
University
lining
on
was ass. Like, gang, do you know how fucking trash this shit? Like, bro, what the fuck?
The depiction of him in South Park is the most accurate, bro. Like,
Oh, yeah.
this shit
Oh,
chopped.
hell yeah.
This shit
Oh, yeah.
fucked up.
Oh, yeah. Bro, like, no bullshit. This is the fucking haircut. Like, they got the shit down.
Bro, it looks like they took a turd and just smeared it across the top of his head, bro.
September 8th.
That nigga, bro, we call this shit the $5 fuck up, bro. Bro, we call this shit the $5 fuck up, bro. Like, this nigga going to the barbershop and just you know, $5 fuck up.
18th, and I was expecting to go because I live just an hour and a half south of CSU. This is more than an assassination on a political figure. It's an assassination on free speech.
Oh my, get into the video.
No matter what you believe, whether you agree with him 100% of the time, disagree, or whatever, he was just peacefully talking.
This is the Old West, right? The Holy Spirit brought me here to challenge you to a gentleman's fist fight right here in front of this whole crowd. Now look, listen.
No.
He just wanted to hear varying opinions, debate topics, and give his opinion.
Young men need a masculine figure around so that they can teach them how to use their violent impulses. A young woman needs...
It seems like the guy who got your ass had a father figure. Hey, that's all I'm gonna say.
Needs a father around so she could see, hopefully, the type of man one day that she will want to marry. So you think that poverty equals crime?
Like, this shit was even worse, bruh. This cut was even worse. Even when he used to have hair. This shit was even worse, bruh.
I think that it's highly correlated, and there's a lot of studies.
This is where
on
we
that.
disagree. We need more fathers, not less.
Yeah, a lot of people disagreed with him, especially on college campuses.
Nigga,
But that's what was so interesting.
Close to being a fascist. Boundaries, and to hear things that might make you mildly uncomfortable.
This doesn't make me mildly uncomfortable.
Does it make you very uncomfortable?
It makes me angry.
Like a lot of people, that's what initially drew my attention to Charlie Kirk. I remember thinking, oh no, an openly conservative on a college campus, he's going to get killed. And at the time when I was thinking that, I didn't mean that as hyperbole.
People like me are facing violence, assault, the left. Yes, the campus Antifa.
Okay, I was actually talking to this nigga about this last night. Any nigga who says anybody who says Antifa, I'm just gonna tell this now. Anybody who looks down upon Antifa is a fucking fascist. I'm gonna say that again. Antifa's not a fucking organization, bro. Antifa literally just means anti-fascist. So it's either you're a fascist or you're not a fascist. So if you're against anti-fascism, guess what the fuck that makes you?
I've been stormed out of restaurants. I've been assaulted publicly, multiple death threats. When people stop talking, that's when you get violence. That's when civil war happens. Because you start to think the other side is so evil and they lose their humanity.
What do you think would happen to you if they found out you were a conservative at some colleges? Yes, on some college campuses, you would have no friends, your car would be keyed, tires slapped.
Nigga, they like conservative and liberals, they do this shit where they make it look like being conservative is so fucking hard and it's so dystopian on nigga, I go to college right now and I swear to fucking God, no one has ever did this to a conservative student. Niggas don't do this shit, bruh. Like, this is some fairy tale, fanciful shit, bruh.
They got predominantly white institutions out there. Like, they have their own happy zones. Like, fraternities or cults for white supremacists.
Hold up. But yeah, bro.
Trashed, dorm room trashed, get jumped walking home from the library late at night.
Jay got punched in the face by a professor here.
He saw my hat, he ripped the hat off my head, then he grabbed my head and also slammed it on the road pavement.
And some professors may even try to flunk you out of the school.
How many of you kids here on campus, raise your hand, do you feel as if you're graded down if you come out as a Trump supporter or conservative?
Nigga, I'm a fucking open Marxist on campus. I'm an open Marxist. I don't get marked down, nigga. Like, this whole, like, bro, like, the whole thing of conservatives just have it hard. If you think a conservative has it harder than a fucking Marxist, anarchist, or any other radical leftist, I'm sorry, nigga.
That is the cultural left that will use power to punish a student with their grades because they have different
views. So, like,
views.
this is what I'm saying. So, this is, like, where you can just easily break down a conservative's argument. They're like, the left is doing this, the left is attacking us, this, right? How the fuck is Trump president if the left is in power? And the left just wants to exterminate the right. It's literally just the stupidest shit ever, bro.
That's fascism. That is definitional fascism.
Charlie Kirk actually helped to make college campuses safer for conservative students by...
Bro, can we... Yeah, bro. Get in fucking video, bro. I'm not finna keep doing this with your white ass, bro.
What do you do even without thinking? Right, hands up in front of your body to defend and protect your head, neck, and core. You may be wondering if severe damage to the spinal cord at C4, C5 caused Charlie to lose consciousness so quickly. No, it was the massive blood loss he incurred so quickly. The jugular vein carries the oxygenated blood down from the brain, while the carotid artery pumps oxygen-rich blood up to the brain. So what happens when both are catastrophically ruptured? Right, the jugular vein drains blood from the brain out of the body, while the carotid artery continuously pumps blood out of the body with each heartbeat. Also, since Charlie likely had an elevated heart rate from exciting the crowd just minutes earlier during his entrance, his rapid pulse would have accelerated the blood loss. When someone suffers a catastrophic wound to the neck that destroys a carotid artery and jugular vein, the mind only has a fleeting window to possibly register what happened. However, in Charlie's case, and after analyzing the footage with a digital timer, he was conscious for no more than 0.4 of a second after impact.
Woo! Yeah, that nigga ain't know what the fuck hit him. He ain't know what the fuck hit it. Oh shit, that mean it just went dark. It just went dark for that nigga. Like no bullshit. It just went dark. Like, damn.
Far too fast for his brain to even register what had happened to him. For the brain to register an event, even briefly, it needs at least 1 to 2 seconds of continuous function after the injury. That would be just enough for a flash of shock or awareness of what just happened to them. If someone goes unconscious in less than about 1 second, the brain cannot register the injury or even register that something is very wrong. Psychologically, the experience for Charlie is as if it never happened. No panic, no dread, no realization that he was about to die. Only an abrupt blackout. It was neurologically impossible for him to psychologically realize anything was wrong at all. But what about pain? It takes approximately just 100 milliseconds to register pain in the neck due to its close proximity to the brain and spinal cord. However, his blackout came so fast, his brain never had the opportunity to turn that raw signal into the perception of pain. What might have looked like movement, specifically with his arms moving upwards, was nothing more than an involuntary defensive reflex, not conscious awareness or the result of feeling any pain. He absolutely did not know he was shot, and psychologically was unable to even register that anything catastrophic ever happened. Although Charlie Kirk was taken from us far too soon.
Yep, that's all we need to know. That's all we need to shut your ass up, bro. I don't want to hear all that shit, bro. Shut that shit up, bro. Shut that shit up, bro.
Yeah, get that nigga off the screen, bro.
Yeah, bro. I don't know what the fuck he got going on, but I'm not finna be doing that shit. I can't watch this shit even if I wanted to. What else should we watch? Oh, this is yo, I've been waiting. Yo, have you ever seen this? Luke?
Nah, put this on.
So what I'm trying to say to you,
niggas, so Keith Ellison, I don't know, I think he's a politician or some sort.
Yeah, pull up who Keith Ellison is real quick. I don't even know who this is.
Yeah, he's Minnesota's AG.
Look like a lib.
So he's the feds. Okay, he's a cop. Yeah, he's a cop.
Every black congressional.
You can tell because he don't got a lineup either.
Huh?
He don't got a lineup, so you can tell for real.
Yeah.
Yeah, make this trip there. Every black politician.
Damn, this trip. He's on wait a minute. Since you're calling on me, brother.
Now, Jackie, did you make
you're calling on me. I've also been to Gaza.
They let you in, though, didn't they?
Well, would it be better if I didn't go in?
Yeah.
Okay, so you don't want me to go to Gaza.
No, I'm telling you. You know why I told you it would have been better if you didn't go?
The people I talked to wanted me there, wanted me to bring their
story. The people in
back.
Gaza want everybody there.
So why shouldn't I go to try to bring their story?
Nobody said you shouldn't go. You said it would have been better if I didn't get in. That's what you said.
No, I said if I didn't go.
No, you said it would have been better if I didn't get in.
I said, well, do you want a semantic thing?
Okay, fine. It would have been better if you didn't get in. Now, if it would have been good if you went and you didn't get in.
Well, I'm glad I did go, and I'm going back.
Well, I know you go back, and I know you get in.
Well, the thing is, man, is that you've been. I remember sitting down with you when I was a law student about 20 years ago.
Oh, and this is what happened?
And, you know what? I'm not taking it personally. I'm taking it.
I'm only joking. I'm only adding some humor.
Okay. And so I'm taking it seriously, not personally. And so look,
You know, there's a lot of things I would like to say, you know, to, I think, bring another perspective to the one you just given. But tonight's your night, so I'm just not going to do that.
Every night's my night.
Well, and so
I mean, you can feel free. It doesn't. I mean, that's what.
Well, no.
You know, I think folks here would be interested in hearing that themselves. Well, because you see the problem. You see the situation here is the reason why I mentioned you, and it wasn't personal. It wasn't personal at all. The reason why I mentioned it is because when we understand how the opposition works,
yeah,
a lot of time the opposition works by preparing the way with people who have good intentions and that they know have no power. And now that you may have had the best of intentions.
So think it through, brother. So what you're saying is, working to change this system with good intentions is ultimately a futile thing to do. I mean, you've made a lot of good critiques. I think
is that a question that you're asking me? That statement right there is working to change the system with good intentions. Is what was the final part?
You're saying that's futile? You're saying that we should just not engage? I mean, it seems
no, that's not the alternative to that. You made a statement. You asked me, was working to change the system with good intentions futile? Yes.
Well, I don't agree with that. And so, I think that you lead people down a path where they feel nothing's going to... You said once you know something, you either have to do something about it or you have to admit you don't care. That's wrong. People know that there's something going on, but they don't feel they have the power to do anything about it. It's not a matter of not caring. It's a matter of not feeling the power to do it. And so,
So you feel that you're empowering people?
I feel that I'm trying to do the best I can with what I have. And so look, but I don't know. I mean, think about you, man. You haven't brought about socialist nirvana in America either.
I'm not a socialist.
Well, whatever kind of world you're trying to bring about.
And I'm not trying to bring about socialism. Let me
Yo, Lucas. Isn't it? What did he just say? What did he just say? He's not a socialist.
Well, whatever kind of world you're trying to bring about.
And I'm not trying to bring about socialism. Let me be clear about my motives here.
Right.
My motives are very simple. Ain't nothing complicated about me. I don't like oppressors. I don't like exploiters. Wait a minute, let me finish. I don't like time. Wait a minute.
Do something.
I'm coming.
Right.
I don't like time. I don't like oppressors. That's why I spent 19 years in prison. I didn't spend 19 years in prison because I felt that I had good intentions and I was going to try to change the system. I know the nature of tyrants. I know the nature of oppressors. It's right there in history books. I know their nature. You will not change them with good intentions. The only way
I'm not trying to change them.
No, wait a minute. No, you have to get rid of them. And the only way you're going to get rid of them is very pure and simple. You got to knock them out the box. And not by voting. You ain't going to get them out the box by voting.
Yo, Lucas. How long you thinking OG lasting on Twitch?
Shit, he probably got a good he probably got a good 5 minutes into it. Yup.
Bro.
No, for sure. He get 3 minutes into it, right? Then he start reading the chat. The MLs will say something. He be responding to them. He be out of there. Feel me? He be out of there.
Another Obama. Don't tell me that this Negro that became president, that promised these people all of this bullshit, had good intentions, and now we can fucking president and we can't do nothing. Don't tell me that. Don't tell me that. That would be a lie. That would be a lie. So what I'm trying to say to you, my opposition, the way I deal with this, the way I deal with tyrants and oppressors, I speak out directly to them. I challenge them directly. And if they want to get physical, I get with that too. Okay? So it's all, that's what it's all about. Because don't think that those 19 years that I had in prison, that them crackers couldn't have murdered me anytime they felt like it. They could have did that. They could have bumped me right off. But they didn't. I'm here talking to you. And why do you think that?
Is that a question for me?
Yeah.
Why do I think...
How do you think I wound up in this place talking to you at this moment in time?
Is that a cosmic question? Or
you can take it as cosmic, as subjective, as an ontological question. Well, here's the cosmic about it.
Well, here's how I answer your question. First of all, much of the critique that you have I'm not here to dispute. You know, but I think that at the end of the day, if all you have is a complaint, then it doesn't lead anywhere.
I just explained to people.
Wait a minute.
The only way that we can begin. The only way.
Did this motherfucker just say all Daruba got his complaints with no solutions? Like, this is the liberal shit, bruh. This is the liberal shit, bruh. They can recognize, like, you critique their system and then they'll be like, well, you ain't doing nothing. It's stupid as fuck.
No, I was sitting here listening to you. You kept up with you know. You know what? I'm not up there. I'm out.
I know what people are thinking, but it's not. I know it's not that. I'm saying, just finish what you're saying.
No. Okay. Well. Okay. So how much do I get a moment to talk, or you?
Go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
Well, first of all, let me just start off with the first thing. One of the first things you said, which is that the reason that Obama is in there is because he's more white than black.
No, that's not what I said.
Well, he had more in common. He had more in common with whites than blacks. What about this? What about this reason? What about maybe given 30, 40 years of flat wages, given the social decline of the meaning of whiteness, that now whites have enough opportunity to have more in common with people of color, which allows them to... You don't believe it. Well, I do believe that. You do? I believe it. Well, see, wait a minute. Were you going to interrupt me or not?
I'm sorry.
No, wait a minute. That's the game, though, man.
But go ahead.
Tell me why you said something.
I'm sorry.
No, you say a bunch of things.
Getting a little heated. It's getting a little heated over there.
Things. Anybody says something back, you attack.
Go ahead.
No, because you went on for about 2 hours.
I'm supposed to.
Right. And you know what?
But she just welcomed his people.
And then you don't let me say nothing.
No, go ahead.
And I'm going to tell you this. You either going to let me say something or not, but I'm not going to stand here and let you just...
No, go ahead.
Finish. Well, look, the fact is that there's always been... I think
this is like the black liberal versus the black radical. This is like me versus Christian Divine. This is essentially what the fuck that shit was.
You would agree. A number of interracial collections of people fighting this change oppression. This was going on in the 20s. It was going on in the 30s. It was going on in the 80s.
Niggas telling Daruba this like he's not fucking Daruba. Okay, bro.
1860s. So you can't say... you say when you made the point, hey, look, you people, you were going on with the you people comment, and you said that this person who said this to you felt that there was some
Make sure to drop a like
impenetrable barrier between you and them. You seem to be saying the same thing. The fact is, people have more in common than they've ever had before. When the fact is that we don't have Jim Crow segregation anymore. We have had a flattening of wages of everybody. We have seen deindustrialization, and everybody is concerned about it. Of wages of everybody. We have seen deindustrialization, and everybody is concerned about it, and people want to do something about it. It's true, black unemployment is higher than white unemployment, but white unemployment officially is 9.7%, which is Depression era unemployment.
Why the fuck does unemployment even exist, my nigga? Like, that's what you gotta ask yourself.
There's a broad dissatisfaction and therefore a basis for people coming together. And it's happening all over the place. I mean, the fact is, I know how you feel about elections, but if there are any measure of what people want and people doing what they think is right, you're seeing black politicians being elected by majority white districts all the time. And you're seeing something else too.
And why is that, my nigga? I fucking hate liberals, bro.
Seeing even white politicians being electing white politicians who speak to their issues. Take, for example...
Obama beat a white man twice. Nigga, okay.
A guy named Steve Cohen in Memphis. His voting record is way more progressive than Harold Ford's is. And he actually introduced a resolution, was the chief author to apologize for slavery. Now
Nigga, what? Bro, Lucas, did you see what this nigga said, bro?
Well, we're trying to fix the system, and my white guy, my master, he gonna forgive us. He's gonna give He's gonna say sorry for the treatment. All right, he's gonna say sorry for enslaving us. It's all right. Master's gonna say sorry.
But he's still gonna keep us in the system.
Say sorry.
Like, bro, this is a stupid, bro. These niggas are not real, bro.
I'm not trying to tell you everything he ever did or everything he ever said is great. I'm simply saying that to argue that there is some impenetrable barrier between people with different racial groups, and that the only reason that Obama was elected is because he has more in common with whites, is a mistaken idea, and it's not true.
Frank would kill this nigga, bro. No bullshit. Frank, motherfucking Orlando. Hell, they'll have a field day with this nigga, bro. And Warren, they have a field day with this nigga. What this nigga need to understand is he need to read the first chapter of Ontological Terror, and he'll realize what the fuck we're talking about.
The reason people voted for Obama is because he offered them an opportunity and a stark departure from Bush-era politics. And that people felt in Iowa and a lot of other places that, you know what, I'm really ready for something new, and I'm not focused on this man's melanin. I'm focused on what I believe might happen if I make a different choice. So that's one thing, to just start out talking about one basic flaw in your whole presentation. The other thing is you got a lot of negative things to say about the Black Caucus, but who was the person who voted against Bush's authorization for war right after 9/11? Well, that was Barbara Lee, who's the chair of the...
Nigga, that shit was gonna happen anyway, bro. That shit was gonna happen anyway, bro. This is what I need y'all to understand, bro. Y'all can do all the voting and all of the filibustering and all of the fucking Cory Booker speeches. The shit that happens in the government is gonna fucking happen. God damn.
You only won the Congress. I wasn't there yet. Okay. Well, I know. I'm there, Steve. I know what I'm talking about. It's Michael. Okay. Well, whatever. And so let me just also say that when you talk about people standing up for the people of Palestine, you know, most of the people who stood up to fight against the condemnation of the Goldstone report, Black Caucus highly overrepresented. Myself, Barbara Lee, Maxine Waters, many others. Look at the numbers. We got FDA people who said we are not going to denounce this report, and many of them. But you know, I want to say I can talk. Oh no, but I got to take a tape recorder to. You said I could.
He over there. God damn.
So right notes like I did. Then the other thing is, we got about 54 members to stand up to write a letter to the president saying you must open Gaza. You have.
When the fuck was this, bro? When the fuck was this, bro? This was 2 years ago. This was even before October 7th. They had the blockade on Gaza even back then, my nigga. And you talking about they wrote a letter to the Republicans asking them to open it up. Is that shit open? I think the fuck not. God damn, bro.
To open it up now. Where's your letter? Well, what do you mean, where is it? You mean, where do I have it on me? What happened to it? Well, we're pushing it. Can you help? I mean, I ain't helping y'all do nothing. Well, exactly. But exactly, you ain't helping. But I'm gonna tell you why. No, exactly, you're not helping because you want to promote cynicism. No. And I'm trying to promote I'm trying to promote positive social change and economic change for people. Okay. And so you want to make people feel nothing can go well, and I feel that it can go well if we come together and are consistent and persistent. Because you know it's not true that it's not true that when Americans have come together in the past that we have not been able to change this country.
Bro, what the fuck is this nigga talking about, bro? Man, not even that, bro. It's that good Americans coming together for change. What the fuck? Like, what the fuck? Like, this is the state. Most people don't even, like, touch on how firefighters are just as bad as the police when it comes to shit like this. Using high-powered water hoses on niggas, bruh. Like, this shit breaks skin.
Free the land.
This shit breaks skin, bro. Those high pressure hoses and shit. That shit can fuck a nigga up.
In a better direction. And it's also not. And it's also.
What has that been though? Give me an example of when folks came together in the past and they changed.
Jim Crow, not Jim Crow.
Tell me when the country came together and changed.
I never said that the country came together. I said the people.
Okay, tell me when the people in America came together and changed something.
Not all of them did.
I didn't ask you that. You just made a statement.
That nigga, you see, when you ask these niggas to actually prove this shit, they can't fucking prove it, bro. There's no incident in America where niggas have unilaterally said, yeah, this shit gotta stop.
Give me a historical moment when you did that.
Well, it was over a range of years. It wasn't all.
Just give me one of them.
Well, let's start from 1954 till 1965.
And that's supposed to be a period when people in America came together to change something.
When some people in America came together and changed the country.
I was some.
Right? Now, I don't even think you could deny that we're better off without Jim Crow, right? I don't even think you would say that, would you? Are you going to say that Jim Crow would be better if we still had it? Or what would you say?
That's not the issue.
Well, it is in part the issue. Here's why it is.
Well, first of all,
let me tell you why it's part of the issue. Let me tell you why.
Brother,
let me tell you why I think it is at least a part of the issue. Then I'm going to be quiet. You can finish your comment. Because you correctly identify American foreign policy as a very dangerous thing for the people of the world. I think you're right about that. In fact, I think that if we come together and we put up a strong opposition to this imperialist.
Hold the fuck up. Yo, Lucas, can you see it? My bad. Can you see this shit, bro? You can see her now, right? It is nigga weak. Alright, bro, listen to this shit, bro.
American foreign policy as a very dangerous thing for the people of the world. I think you're right about that. In fact, I think that if we come together and we put up a strong opposition to this imperialist.
Who's we?
Nigga said, who's we? Bro, this nigga said, I think of weak. Nigga said, who's we?
Well, the people in this room, for example.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
Right? And more than just this room. Way more than just this room.
It's got to have more than this room.
Right. But people who would rather be a part of humanity than above it. You know, and I think there's a lot of Americans who want to see the world that change that way, who want to reach out across the water, who want to reach out and internationally. But if you just say that everything sucks and everything's bad and nothing ever can happen, then
I mean, shit, everything does suck around this motherfucker. For the most part, everything is ass, bruh.
You know what? Then we will capitulate with the system and the worst elements of it. But if we believe, and if people like you will use your voice to say, you know what we need to do is not just buy canned goods for the next storm, but actually organize to really oppose. Let's start with Gaza, but then the whole policy over there. Maybe we could get ourselves together, but the movement, in my opinion, stays on the margin. And because it stays on the margin, we don't ever reach into issues of power to really make the changes that I think we can make. So, you know, I'm gonna tell you honestly, I just came to listen tonight, and if you wouldn't have been signifying on me, I wouldn't have said a word.
I just signified on you so you would say a word. And I'm glad you did jump out there. So now,
I got one more thing to say.
Ain't nobody scared of your ass. The fuck? The fuck wrong with him? If you ain't say nothing about me, I wouldn't have said shit. Nigga, I did say it on purpose, motherfucker. The fuck? Nigga.
What about Mamiya?
We got that Baptist minister.
No, I got one more thing to say.
What about Mamiya? Mamiya Abdul Jamal. Yes.
Just let him finish.
No, you know what? I'm gonna tell you. We've gotta get comfortable with trying to acquire some power because we're so.
Oh shit, this nigga sounding like a Leninist, bro. You know, all we gotta do is just get some power in. Then we can actually make some change.
Because we've been dogged by power, we're so distrustful of it, we act like we don't even want it. And it always gets used on us. And so what I'm saying is right now, you asked me about Mumia Abu-Jamal. You know, you put something on my mind tonight. You really did. And we'll see what happens tonight. Well, let me tell you, I have always, people in this room have to admit, I have always consistently opposed the death penalty. Without exception. Right? Without ever any exception. Now, I'm going to tell you, you want something done on Mumia Abu-Jamal? Let's begin that conversation. Frankly, I'll be honest. I hadn't really even thought about it. Okay? About a resolution in Congress raising questions about Mumia Abu-Jamal and saying there must be an investigation on this case. I hadn't really even thought about it. But I'm going to walk out of this room thinking about it. In the same way that I brought other resolutions and done other things, including impeachment, including stuff on detention. I've been down at Guantanamo to address these issues, and I'm not going to stop. And it's not going to be an overnight thing. But one thing I'm not going to do is stand on the sideline and talk about everything sucks and how everything's bad and how nothing ever works. Because that doesn't lead nowhere. And I'm telling you, man, I love your critique, and I took notes from what you were saying.
See, I ain't taking no notes from what you just said.
But it's okay, and I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to let you insult me because
I'm not insulting you. That's not an insult.
But the point is that, you know, at the end of the day, you know, this your crowd. You're gonna say what you want to say.
Hey, I would have said what I want to say if this wasn't my crowd. Don't just twist it. Don't see what you're getting twisted here.
But I'm not getting twisted.
You are getting twisted.
I'm about to try.
You think I only sing to the choir? I don't just sing to the choir.
Well, you know, yes you do.
No, I don't.
You absolutely.
Oh fuck! This nigga accused Aruba of having an echo chamber and basically getting ego boost. Oh shit! This nigga.
Oh, he's trying to argue back with Daruba though. Why he trying to argue back? That's what's crazy.
I think it's more of embarrassment. I think he's embarrassed. I think it's mostly embarrassment, and this nigga's just taking it personal at this point. The nigga legitimately just told Daruba, "You only saying this shit because you got your niggas around." All right, bro.
Go back to your black folks and ask how many of these Negroes I was saying to.
Well,
this nigga spent 20 years in fucking prison, bro. Organizing from behind bars, nigga. And you really think this nigga gives a fuck on who's in the room, bro? Like, that's what I'm saying, bro.
Go back to Well, I'm gonna tell you this. I've been there 3 years, and I haven't heard from you there.
You know why? Because before you got there, I stopped singing to them Negroes.
Well, there's new Negroes, okay? And you can come
I don't know
to
a Negro. I only know old Negroes.
Well,
that's like Puff Daddy with his
I'm using your word.
music awards.
I'm using your word.
Puff Daddy?
I'm using your word. You said Negro. I don't like the term, but that's what you said, so whatever. My point is,
here they go. You're using racial slurs and pejoratives, bro. We're fucking black, bro. Like, we're fucking black, dog. If a black person want to use any variant of the N-word, bro, we can, bro. That's my stance on it, bro. God damn, bro. All this soft ass shit, bro. Damn, nigga. Like, if I want to say nigga, I can say nigga. Nigga.
But you got in the last
my point is, there are new people every day who are looking for constructive ways to move forward with some action. You know what you say is, I'm done talking to them. Then obviously,
that's not what I said.
That's how
that's a mischaracterization. I told you what I said. I didn't say that there's this impenetrable divide between people in this country. What I said is that this nation is an empire in denial. Okay? And the major contradiction in this country, the major contradiction between people in this country is their inability to face history and face up to the realities of their historical being. Okay? That's the contradiction. White folks in America don't want to admit to their history. They clean it up, they modify it, they don't want to deal with it. And as long as they don't want to deal with it, the issues...
I mean, you even see this shit with Charlie Kirk, bro. They're whitewashing this nigga in real time. Like, in real time. They're whitewashing the fuck out of this nigga.
never get dealt with. It's nothing about being impenetrable. It has to deal with people being ignorant and wallowing in that ignorance because they prefer it. And because that's part of the national characteristic, to be an ignorant ass. That's what Americans are, ignorant. And if you go to Cuba or any place else and you compare junior high school students with their knowledge of the world and American high school students, you'll be shocked. It's ignorance. It's studied ignorance. And what I want to say is this. No one said that the divide between black and white is impenetrable. But you got to remember, there's not one historical moment in this country where white folks in mass came on board for a just cause that had to deal with black people. Not one historical moment. Not one.
That's right.
That's why you can't name one. Everything. That's why you use the word some. That's why you use the word some. You said some people, and those some people are some of the same people that's in jail right now as political prisoners. Those are the some people. The same ones. Okay? The ones that's sitting up, my comrades that's dead. Those were the some people that came together to change this. And the fact of the matter is, when a black person gets murdered in Chicago, when a black kid gets shot down by the cops in New York City, you don't see white folks coming out demonstrating, horrified over what happened.
This nigga's cooking. This nigga is cooking. He is cooking. Bro, like this whole idea that white people care, bro, like in numbers. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have your radical white people. No one's discounting that. You do have radical white people. But in the wider context of white people existing, them motherfuckers is few and far between, and they're exiled from whiteness to an extent.
Don't come out
for fucking with niggas.
And the reason why they don't come out,
do we organize
what?
Do we organize in the
Yes! 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 They don't come out. The reason why they don't come out is because they don't identify with what's happening. And they don't identify with what's happening. It's something that you really got to deal with. Okay? And that black politicians don't want to deal with. Okay? The fact of the matter is that the United States is a nation state. It's a national security state that evolved on the proposition and the premise of white supremacy. And they have never confronted that historical contradiction. And
what I'm saying to you is,
wait a minute, now you try to point out. I'll let you talk now. I'll let you talk.
And if we organize,
I'll let you talk. I'm coming to that part. You said that the reason why people voted for Obama. I'm just capsulizing this because you mentioned a number of points. You mentioned a number of points. I'm capsulizing this. I'm saying that up front because you mentioned a number of points that I would like to address individually, but it was a little bit much. But you said in capsulization that there was a level of discontent and disconcertedness in the country as a whole amongst white folks who felt that they were ready for a change that this man represented. That's an encapsulation, basically, of what you said. Okay? That's basically what you said. And I'm saying to you that if you go back and you read Du Bois, if you go back and you read Malcolm, if you go back and you read all of the historical analysis of American society, okay, you find, and this was the major contradiction of the Communist Party of USA and why they failed. Because you got to remember, one of the foremost advocates against racism and discrimination in early America were the communists in this country. White communists. Okay? So for you to tell me that I think that there's some intellectual
my professor, my white professor actually gave me a book. I'm going to look it up in my history. It's actually about early white communist organizing and shit. I'm going to read that shit.
Barrier between white folks and black folks.
About what you said.
That's not what I said. I didn't say nothing about a political barrier. I talked about the dichotomy and the dialectics of the situation. Nobody said it was impenetrable. Anything man creates, he could uncreate. Okay? But what you were trying to point out was that there were a whole bunch of demographic factors. There were a whole bunch of sociological and political factors. Urbanization, for instance. We've inherited obsolete urban infrastructures through migration. How did migration proceed in the U.S. from the south to the north? When did it proceed? At what point in capitalist production did it succeed? All these issues that you were talking about at the top were symptoms of what happened at the bottom. And the bottom line is this, is that African American workers and white workers in this country have a different historical destiny. They have a different historical formula for their resolution.
What? What? I remember explaining this shit to Nigerian Marxists, like on live. We had to explain this shit to Nigerian Marxists, like the stratifications when it comes to the white working class and black people. There are two fucking destinies that are here, two different interests that are here. You know what I'm saying? Like that's one of the main things that people don't understand, mainly.
A contradiction. It's not the same. The black experience in America is not the same as the white experience in America. And that dichotomy is not impenetrable. That dichotomy relies
on a book name. When I find it, I'll give it to y'all.
On sincerity and truth. That only when you have a truthful dialogue, can people come together and say, wait, I can see where you're coming from. And they can say, well, damn, man, let's work together on this. That requires a truthful dialogue. And what I'm trying to say to you is that the majority of people that you got in the black caucus today, and the majority of black leaders of today, are not involved or want to be involved in truthful dialogue. That's not their purpose. Their purpose is to get paid. Their basic purpose is to get paid. Because every time, you can tell me that's not true, but everyone I ran into, whenever the tire hits the road, it's about getting paid. It's about getting reelected and getting paid. Now, you're talking about entrees to power. You're talking about entrees to power and how to move on power. I'll give you a good example of this. When I was in prison, when I went to prison in 71 for the pastor on this conspiracy case, there were hardly any black correction officers in the Department of Corrections. After we done tore up the prisons and you had Attica and Auburn riots and George Jackson was murdered in California and you had black inmates agitating for unions, black inmates organizing unions, before you realized that criminal justice was an industry. Criminal justice in America is an industry. And
that's the main thing people gotta realize. So the whole idea of criminal justice reform is fickle on its own. Excuse me. The prison system is a corporation. Prisons are corporations. They're privatized industries. There will be no such thing as actual, genuine reform in the prison system.
Applies on a commodity, and the commodity is this: black flesh. Okay? Before there was these correction officers, there was these white correction officers. That's all these guys was up there. Then we started getting all these black correction officers in after Adam. Because one of the major demands is that the prison guards had nothing in common with the prisoners, and there was this disconnect, this impenetrable barrier.
And you don't think these motherfuckers that own these prisons are like the biggest lobbyists on Capitol Hill? That's another thing. Like, that's why this shit will never fucking happen.
Between God and inmate, sociologically, politically, and everything. The black officers come in, and in order for them to fit into the system, they got to be as much like the white officers as possible. They got to engage in the goon squad beat-ups. They got to do all of that stuff. They got to harass your people. They got to do everything that the system does. Okay? And although every time you ask them why they're there, they want to make a difference. They want to change this. So I asked one guard one time, I said, look, you know, you're always telling me about how you in this to change the system and how you want to work. I said, what if, you know, I was trying to escape? And there was nothing between me and freedom but you and your gun and that tower. Would you shoot me? You know what he told me? What do you think he told me?
You wouldn't tell a story unless it had a certain outcome.
Now I'm asking you, what do you think the answer would be?
That nigga said hell yeah.
Man, it's your story, tell it.
The answer was, and he was in a dilemma. But this guy is a genuinely nice guy. This dude ain't no evil person that was in this thing, you know, to glory over people being locked up. This wasn't a guy like that. So this was a guy that was, you know, kind of thoughtful. I said, so would you shoot me? You know what he said? He said, if my job didn't depend on it, no. So I'm telling, that tells you, that tells me, that told me then, okay, that told me then, that you can go into an institution, you know, you can go into an institution with the best of intentions, as an individual, to make the best change and effectuate the most change, and find yourself in an institution that will completely neutralize you and spit you out like a piece of doo-doo.
Well, of course.
Okay, wait, I'll let you talk now. I want to conclude because this was your 30 seconds. Your point was 30 seconds when I finish this point. Your point was, you get 30 seconds. involved in the process of empowerment. That we should try to get involved in the process of empowerment from the inside, you understand, in order to facilitate change. And I'm saying that the system relies on you having that idea that you go inside of it and change it, it'll change you before it will change. And what changed America was not Martin Luther King inside the system. And what changed America, and you've got a point when you say that there's a lot of us who organize on the outside are really afraid of the authority or the position of power. Then once we get power, we won't know what to do with it. It's easy for us to sit outside and throw stones, but once you get inside, you have to make decisions. It's a different can of worms. Okay, and that's true. That's why you see every revolutionary government on the African continent, once it went into power, the elites in those revolutionary parties became the same forces to oppress and exploit and marginalize the people. ANC, PAIGC, FRELIMO, all of them organizations are now parties of the institutional powers in those countries. And if you go talk to those people in Mozambique, in South Africa, you find out that nothing has significantly changed in their lives from these people. Why? Because a nation...
What you mean, bro? What do you mean, bro? China on Africa, bro. I heard China fighting for African liberation down there, bro. What you mean? What you mean, bro?
What you mean the state doesn't work for black people? What you mean black people can't use the state for liberation? What you mean?
Lives in the community of nations. Okay? No matter what your intentions are, when you came into power, if you came into power as a revolutionary movement, once you became a nation state, you had to deal with all the other nation states of the world. And that means that a lot of your radical ideas had to change. That means you had to administer power a certain way. Nelson Mandela didn't go from prison to president by accident. He went from prison to president by design. And he was meeting, and Nelson will tell you this, he was meeting with the financiers of Europe a year and a half, 18 months before he got out of prison. So what I'm trying to say to you is that your role in the Congress, your intentions may be, as you stated, your intentions may be to work inside of this system and with people who have common interests and better the lives of these folks through trying to bring through those sincere legislations and those sincere policies that will address people's needs. That's what you basically are there for. You're not there to get paid, to get rich. That's what you're saying. Fine, I hear it. But I'm saying the system needs you inside to do that in order to do what it's doing. That the real way the change comes in this country is not from within. The real way the change came in this country historically has been from without.
Well, the real way is not from people organizing from without. It is, you don't leave an opportunity to work power on the table. What I'm talking about is a mass movement. What I'm talking about is a mass movement. I am talking about, I don't believe you can change an institution from within by yourself.
What'd you say, Lucas?
Nah, he said he talking about a mass movement. That nigga trying to start a mass movement to the polls. Everyone to the goddamn booth. Everyone get in there. Get that ballot out.
Hey, bro. Yeah, bro, this is what I was hearing from motherfuckers like Han. Like, Han was like, I'm seeing my neighbors outside. These are all of the community organizings that leftists want to do, right? Like, are you what the fuck are you? That's not fucking community organizing, bro. That's not community organizing. Door knocking for Zorhan Mamdani.
Corner.
Huh?
Nah, bro, it's niggas on the corner.
Bro, that is community engagement. Niggas talking about I had 50,000 people, I had 50,000 neighbors coming out and talking to each other. To do what? To go vote for a fucking Democrat. This is what Democratic campaigns look like. Like, what the fuck? The whole idea that Zorhan is doing some transformative bullshit is just so fucking stupid. Nigga, we've seen this shit before, bruh. Like, what the fuck? Like, bro, he's so fucking corny, bro. Singing getting endorsements from establishment Dems now, bro. He's an establishment Democrat, bro. Like, oh my fucking god, bro. This is ass. This is ass, bro.
Zoran's so funny. I have critiques of capitalism.
Yeah, I saw.
$75.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a video about that. I'm gonna make a video. I'm gonna put that in my YouTube video. I'm probably not gonna make a TikTok because I'm pretty much done talking about Zorhan on TikTok. What up, Lil Twan? But when it comes to like my video on Zorhan, that shit not done, bro. But my thing is, well, the thing that I'm in, the crossroads that I'm in right now is he still has like 2 months left on the campaign trail. I don't know if I want to do a video on this nigga like pre-election or post-election when he fully like to see if he wins or not. You get what I'm saying? I'm really like really just like, bruh, what the fuck should I do here?
Yeah, bruh. If a Republican ends up mayor of New York, they finna blame your ass, cuz it's gonna be on you. They gonna be like, oh my god, this nigga from Missouri, from Missouri, he's from
fuck nigga from St. Louis just fucked it up all.
He's from a red state. He's a Republican.
Bro, my thing is like that's what I'm saying. So I'm debating on if I want to see like his full capitulation, and I want to see if he like fully capitulates like even further, because this nigga what'd he do? This nigga apologized to the NYPD, bro. Like what the fuck? I want to watch.
I want a written apology from every officer in the NYPD.
I want to not even an apology. I want more, but man, I can't.
Yeah,
say
actually, I want their pensions too.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, they badge and gun. Give me that too.
We can't say what we
give that all up.
I want to watch this because many niggas are saying like this is going to start a civil war, bro. Like.
Charlie Kirk's assassination is a tipping point in America because Charlie was famous for bringing open, unfiltered debate to college campuses. He was in the
fuck. Can y'all please stop calling this shit debate, bro? This shit was not debate, bro.
And it wasn't unfiltered. That nigga edited the fuck out his clips. Like,
nigga, if you find me one unedited Charlie Kirk clip, I'll send you $200.
No, one that he posted himself.
Yeah, one that he posted himself that's unedited and where he's getting cooked. I'm waiting.
In the midst of one of his signature prove me wrong sessions with his wife Erica and 2 children being present, when on September 10th a sniper assassinated him, just days after a Ukrainian refugee was also savagely murdered on a bus in Charlotte during a race-motivated attack, and all of this a year after Trump's attempted assassination.
I still wonder how this nigga I think this was the staged one, because there's no way you missed this shit. Like miss his whole entire. There's no way.
Just around
and just graze his ear.
The 24th anniversary of 9/11, an attack that united Americans.
It ain't, bro. Can we please stop, bro? Can we please stop, bro? I wasn't even alive during this time, and I already know from niggas who were like here, the Islamophobia spiked. That is not uniting Americans, my nigga. Like what the like.
And yet now
it united white people. Like, just please say that shit. It united white people.
Well, these attacks are dividing America more than we've ever seen before. While most people were shocked by this, thousands also expressed their joy over his death. Some of the media even smeared him.
Charlie Kirk is a divisive figure, polarizing, lightning rod, whatever term you want to use.
And even the House couldn't agree to have a moment of silence for him. Which is why
the fuck would we have, like, okay, bro, logistically, this nigga was a podcaster and a YouTuber, bro. Why the fuck are we having moments of silence, bro? Like, what's up to the 10, bro? Make sure to like up the stream and sub if you new.
Motivated terror attack might just be the one that tears America.
Bro, is that wrong?
Which is why this.
Bro, was that the Rome account?
Motivated terror attack.
Nah, that was not wrong.
Might just be the one that tears America apart, as it seems a line has now finally been crossed in the country, as his death is a window into how far American political discourse has traveled from division to something far riskier for the entire population. It's why around 43% now believe a civil war is at least somewhat.
Okay, with this civil war shit, who the fuck is going to be fighting this shit? Who's going to be fighting? Who the fuck, like, what will be the context and the pretext of the civil war? The first Civil War was fought over fucking well, it was really just it was really one big insurrection. But the first Civil War was fought on the expansion of enslavement, A, and B, the differential in northern industrial capital and southern agrarian capital. It was fought on that and the South's ever encroaching independence from the United States, because the South no longer needed the North. They had Britain, France, and all other European powers. So there's like, we're economically independent, my nigga. You get what I'm saying? What the fuck will we be fighting a civil war over in 2025? Fucking Trump? That's what liberals like liberals aren't going to take up arms, bro. They're not fighting a fucking civil war. So again, bro, can y'all please stop with this mass hysteria bullshit, bro? Charlie Kirk is not going to start. Charlie Kirk being murdered is not going to fucking start a fucking civil war.
Likely in the next 10 years, as we see yet another young 20s
The nigga got killed by he got killed by another Nazi.
politically radicalized guy trying to take down open discussion with bullets, whether it be Luigi Mangione, Thomas Matthew Crooks, and Tyler Robinson, and making a martyr out of one of Americans' most famous
What the fuck is this?
commentators is only going to radicalize everyone so much more. Because if you followed US politics over the past decade, you've probably seen him at least once, as he was everywhere from Fox News podcasts, college campuses, Trump rallies. He became one of the most recognizable faces in the modern conservative movement, building Turning Point USA at the age of just 18 into a massive operation by the time he died, with $55 million in annual revenue, and over
Hey, y'all niggas want me to believe, and y'all are making these donations to his daughter and shit, like, and his kids, like, feeling bad. Bro, these niggas is set for life, bro.
350 full-time employees. Most people knew him for those campus debate videos where he'd sit at a table with a prove me wrong son and argue with college students. The clips went insanely viral, and
So this motherfucker became a millionaire off of just arguing with fucking children. Okay.
On that Wednesday afternoon in Utah,
Children
Kirk was
relative
doing
to him.
exactly this, something he'd done hundreds of times before. He was about 20 minutes into a session when someone decided the conversation was over, with a clean shot from 200 yards away straight into his neck. Quickly following this, President Trump ordered US flags at half-staff and called it a dark moment. And in the first few hours, we did see some genuine humanity shine through the shock. People who disagree with
This is... Oh my fucking God, bro. I'm so tired of liberals, bro. They were showing humanity. I think this speaks to Afro-pessimism. Not speaks. This shit is yelling to Afro-pessimism. Somebody as disgusting as evil as Charlie Kirk is allowed to be seen as human in this society. He's allowed to have a family, kids. He's not viewed as a rebel rouser, a gangbanger, or a thug. But what happens every time a nigga gets killed just in general? Just in general. Like, Trayvon Martin wasn't killed by the police. But guess what they still said about him? He was a gang member, thug, this, that. There was no cause for humanity. There was no cause for he was somebody's son. There was none of that. Black people are not allowed this grace at all. And if you're going to sit here and say that they are, you're a fucking idiot.
Kirk politically still offered genuine condolences.
His wife and children were in attendance, dude.
Oh my fucking God. Yeah, that shit was a lie, too. That shit was a lie. His wife and kids were not in attendance. This nigga Dean is just lying. Just a lie.
Imagine being a 12-year-old, watching your dad.
Oh my God.
After this
nigga's so pathetic, bro.
We gotta talk a little bit about violence and the difference.
This nigga's so fucking pathetic, bro. We may read Rest of the Earth, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
That's
King died.
I'm saying, like
wait a fucking minute. We reading Rest of the fucking Earth, nigga. Cause this is what the fuck y'all niggas need. All of y'all niggas, please. Fuck, you see this shit already you see the link already pre-clicked, nigga. Fuck, nigga, this shit I've read this shit.
Nobody deserves that. Not even Charlie.
We saw celebrities.
Not even Charlie Kirk, bro. Shut the fuck up, man.
Charlie.
We don't know what motivated the person who shot and killed Charlie Kirk, but this kind of despicable. The drone king himself. Oh, Dean already said he going far right, bro. He said he siding with the far right every time, bro. So shit, kiss that goodbye. But what was I finna say, bro? The drone king himself is talking about despicable violence. All right, bro.
Politicians from all sides of the political spectrum.
Oh, this nigga too. There's no place in our country for this kind of violence. It must end now. Nigga, didn't you circumnavigate Congress to send more funding to a fucking war machine, to a genocidal war machine, bro?
Coming out to denounce the violence.
Oh,
This nigga, hold up. Mind you, Biden low-key won off political violence. I think with just COVID, Trump wouldn't have won, but with the BLM, shit going on during 2020, Biden literally would not have won if it weren't for political violence and him being the one who could, end that.
Yeah, bro. Like, fam is...
The Utah governor Spencer Cox called on everyone to stop hating our fellow Americans. Even his biggest opponents expressed some sympathy for his family. But that didn't last for very long, as people began...
Hey, gang. Donald Trump just skipped Kennedy Center's Charlie Kirk's visual to play golf. Yeah, this nigga don't give a fuck. He does not give a fuck, bro. Oh my god! Oh my god, nah, he's actually funny, bro. Like, this is genuinely hilarious, dog. This motherfucker's actually hilarious, bro. Hold up.
Trump's confirming he's a groiper. Oh my god.
Like, bro,
the groipers recruited Trump.
Bro, like, I'm not even bullshitting, bro. This motherfucker teasing TikTok deals, bro. Bro, I'm so serious, bro. I'm so serious, y'all. This is real. This is real. President Donald Trump reportedly skipped a prayer visual for slaying conservative commentator Charlie Kirk Sunday at the John F. Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. The president's public event schedule was blank for Sunday, the Daily Beast reported. So he ain't had to do shit, dog. He ain't had to do shit, dog. Oh, politicians do that, especially when they're retired, so they can maintain their public image. I mean, like, to us, they don't care what we think about them, but they care about what the public at large thinks about them. That's why they make them fucking cookie cutter ass statements. The president's public event schedule was blank for Sunday, and his press schedule indicated he was spending the weekend at Trump National Golf Club in Bedminster, New Jersey. On Saturday, Trump pontificated about suspect Tyler Robinson, his alleged radicalization while discussing the shooting at the Hope Through Education Gala held at New Jersey residence, TMZ reported. Oh, this nigga's he's sick. He said he going to the real funeral service, though. They saying they finna draft the formal charges against this nigga Tuesday. The nigga who suspectedly did this to Charlie.
Began to degrade him in all sorts of personal attacks and radical theories. People said he had it coming because of his views, and many even saw this as a win for the left. Or they just straight out used his death for some other point. All while those on the right demanded total war against the left. Then things became even crazier, when people soon realized when those taken into police custody were just decoys. The first was the 71-year-old George Sin, a local activist with a decades-long history of showing up to political events across Utah. Witnesses captured videos of police escorting Zinn away from
They straight doxed this nigga too. They doxed both of them niggas, bro.
the scene. A uniformed officer was then heard saying on the video he said he shot him, but I don't know.
The fuck? Bro, like, the police is so ass, bro. You think you heard him say that?
Was that you? We don't know if it's him or not.
Despite a massive manhunt involving federal, state, and local agencies, the actual shooter remained at large for some 48 hours until an extraordinary development. The suspect's own father,
Like, if that nigga dad if his daddy ain't say shit, they would still be looking for this nigga, bro.
bravely turned him in. Tyler had
It was brave for his father to turn him. Like, come on.
confessed the shooting to his father, and began panicking, realizing how screwed he truly was, looking for somewhere to turn to.
This should have been our first fucking red flag about this nigga, bro. This nigga had sunny side up eggs on fucking pancakes, dog. This motherfucker has sunny side up eggs on fucking pancakes, dog. Where the fuck is the syrup at? Where the fuck is the syrup
You know
at?
what, bro? You know what, bro? I take back everything I said about Lenin. Some niggas need to go back to the gulag, bro. This shit crazy.
What the fuck is he eating, bro?
I take back what I said about Stalin, bro. Some niggas need to go.
This nigga got sunny side up. He got sunny side up eggs on fucking pancakes with no syrup. Hey, y'all ain't know this little
the
nigga was
general
not right.
population of the USSR. That's why they had gulags.
Oh my god, bro. Oh my god, bro.
This was your average czar loyalist right here.
Oh.
That's why we had gulags.
Bro, I sometimes do be thinking like, bro, what do we do with these niggas, bro? Like, what do we do with these niggas, bro? This nigga was a graper. Oh my god.
And so his father persuaded him to meet a minister.
Yeah, no seasoning on that motherfucker, nothing. Just eggs and pancakes.
Was looking
and dry ass pancakes. Like, who took this shit, bruh? Who the fuck was he eating with that allowed him to do that shit? Did he ask the restaurant staff to do that shit? This that Utah shit, bruh. What the fuck? No, he put the shit on the... Nah, bruh. Get this nigga going, bruh.
for somewhere to
Bruh, throw the book at his ass. Please,
and
please, just for that shit.
So his father persuaded him to meet a minister and marshal, who then contacted the authorities and took him away. According to officials at Thursday's press conference,
I ain't gonna lie. My pops ain't convinced me to do that shit. I swear to God.
Robinson had driven to police headquarters with his father and surrendered. It was also revealed this was definitely not a spontaneous plan. As we know by now, all the bullet casings in the weapon have...
Bro, they said, we giving your ass to DP. What's up to the 13? Make sure to like and sub if you new. Make sure to just like up the stream too. But if I hear my son getting a DP, I wouldn't, as a father, bro, I wouldn't, and I know my kid did this shit. I wouldn't have it in me to give this nigga up to the police, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I just wouldn't.
Messages
you call it whatever the fuck you want. You can say I'm doing something, I'm harboring future. I couldn't, nigga. This is my fucking son, bro.
Including "Hey fascist catch," and whoever's reading this is gay. It quickly became alleged that...
Alright, bro. That's that Nick Fuentes humor, bro. It's that gripper humor, bro.
He had some sort of affiliation with Antifa. The father...
How the fuck does this nigga have affiliations with both Nick Fuentes and anti-fascist? Antifa niggas don't, nigga. As an Antifa nigga, we don't do that shit, bro. That oh bullshit, we don't say shit like that. Yeah, bro.
A left group that led to things like Chaz and Trump happening. Robinson had also told family members that Kirk was just full of hate and spreading hate, and had mentioned Kirk's upcoming Utah Valley University appearance at a family dinner. It really just showed how deep political violence has penetrated American society at this point, but it certainly didn't happen in a vacuum. It happened in a US more deeply divided than it has ever been since the American Civil War, and in this kind of situation, history has taught us time and time again that you only need a spark to ignite the whole toxic, volatile mixture. I mean, just look at how politically charged the coverage came out about...
So we don't think, like, nobody believes this is a result of American imperialism, colonialism, capitalism, and, you know, just fucking niggas over in the global south and domestically. Like, no one that's crossed none of you niggas' minds. I'll be back, chat.
As assassination.
Showing footage of people running from gunshots, MSNBC thought it appropriate to provide context. They called him divisive at a time while he was dying from his wounds.
And the investigation. Charlie Kirk is a divisive figure, polarizing, lightning rod, whatever term you want to use.
We've already mentioned all the people reacting to Charlie Kirk's death with excitement, but even mainstream broadcasters like MSNBC made comments to either justify or dismiss the severity. Their first reaction was a suggestion that it was one of his own supporters firing a gun in celebration.
In which a shooting like this happens.
Yeah, and again, emphasize what you just emphasized. We don't know any of the full details of this. We don't know if this was a supporter shooting their gun off in celebration, or so we have no idea about this.
They then had Matthew Dowd on the show claiming that Charlie brought this on himself.
He's been one of the most divisive, especially divisive younger figures in this, who is constantly sort of pushing this sort of hate speech or sort of aimed at certain groups. I always go back to hateful thoughts lead to hateful words, which then lead to hateful actions. And I think that's the environment we're in, that people just, you can't stop with these sort of awful thoughts you have and then saying these awful words and not expect awful actions to take place.
He was later fired, underplaying what just happened and giving license to anybody out there who feels hurt by what somebody believes as an excuse to take them down. Even the New York Times wrote this obituary for Charlie, but instead of focusing on the Christian family man, they went on to claim that Charlie was a genius for using...
He was not a fucking bro. This nigga was not a good father, bro. Just because you're a father, just because you have kids, does not mean you are a good one, bro. God damn.
Social media and campus organizing to build a following, which he then presented to donors and Trump-adjacent politicians to gain more resources and access. Or in other words, basically making him out to be a grifter. Even the Oxford Union president gleefully celebrated the death of Charlie. And now on the right, people want pure vengeance. Vengeance like you've never seen before. Which is why we need to see on the wider perspective what this really means for America. Utah Governor Spencer Cox called it a political assassination, but his words carried a deeper warning.
Nothing I say can unite us as a country. Nothing I can say right now can fix what is broken. Nothing I can say can bring back Charlie Kirk.
At the FBI press conference following the capture of Tyler Robinson, he then went on to say ominously it was a watershed moment for the country.
History will dictate if this is a turning point for our country.
And that begs the question, what's next? What kind of watershed moment is this? Barbara Walter has spent decades studying how countries slide into...
Hey, Lucas. Lucas.
Yeah.
I'll see you in Valhalla, brother.
Hold up, bro. No, bro. I was about to troll. I can't even do it, bro.
I gotta play that shit, bro. This nigga cash hotel.
This nigga think he really from Norway. It's this nigga from South Asia. What the fuck he is, right? He a Viking now. Oh,
bro. This nigga's been getting cooked, bro. You know he got a federal hearing now. He got a federal hearing for mismanaging the case, bro. This nigga is.
This is a very much an ongoing investigation, as the governor said, and we will continue to work with state and local authorities to develop the investigation, to provide them the evidence they need for their ongoing prosecutions, and we will be here to answer every call they absolutely have, as long as it takes, for as long as we need to find and apprehend whatever suspects were involved in this crime. Lastly, to my friend Charlie Kirk, rest now, brother. We have the watch, and I'll see you in Valhalla. This is a very much an...
I'll see you in Valhalla. Ugly ass.
Lame ass
wars,
nigga.
analyzing over 200 conflicts worldwide. Her research suggests America has all the warning signs of a society primed for... for a period of heightened violence. According to data published in her best-selling book, How Civil War Starts,
motherfuckers gotta do likes on here instead of Twitch.
America's democracy score has dropped. That then puts the country in what some researchers call anocracy, the danger zone where countries are vulnerable to political violence. Now, people will always naturally disagree on when this started happening and which side of the political spectrum is...
This country, bro, this is basically like the NEP, or war communism. The shit was fucked from the start, bro. America was fucked from the start, bro. You gotta think about it, bro. You gotta think about this shit, bro. This shit was fucked from the jump, bro. You niggas came over here and killed niggas, bro. The fuck?
Primarily to blame, and it's no secret that the US political system swings like a pendulum from Democrat to Republican. But research from the University of Southern California indicates that each side is now further apart than the early 1900s. In fact, America has been more polarized for a longer period than any other major democracy on the planet.
The only reason why you see this much polarization,
inaccurate.
The only reason why you see a lot of polarization is because the parties are internally polarized themselves. You get what I'm saying? Especially the Democrats.
I don't even think this is.
This
isn't even accurate, like at all. Like when we're talking about like the differences in political action from like, let's say like in the 1920s and the early 1900s, we have the revival of the Klan, right? That's far right action, and then we also at the same time we're seeing a large labor movement. That's two extremely different like polar opposites going on. Then we have the Black militant movement starting up in the 50s, continuing out into the 90s, and then we still see like Yahtzee groups and neo Yahtzee groups forming throughout. Then like that's like when Heritage Foundation gets built up, et cetera. Like we've been polarized forever. It's just and now our agenda is much more in sync. We're the polarization is not even a reality. It's political theater. That's the polarization they're referring to. When it comes to action in empire, these niggas is all agents of the same empire. They will do imperialism the same. They will all agree that Israel has the right to exist, that we need to colonize, the rest of the world, that we need to maintain our empire. We got to protect our economic interests here, there. Like, ain't no polarization in this bitch. It's political theater.
In the kind of conditions the US might be heading for, evidence suggests that the annual risk for civil war conflict reaches 4% per year. That seems low at face value, but consider that's a compound risk of 40% over 10 years, and suddenly it doesn't look so small anymore. Take Yugoslavia. In the 80s, it was described as one of the largest, most developed and diverse countries in the Balkans. Different ethnic groups lived in the same neighborhoods, went to the same schools, intermarried freely. It had been a functioning multi-ethnic state for decades.
Guess what? All these niggas is white.
Then the economy started falling apart, and by 1991, Slovenia and Croatia were declaring independence. US intelligence predicted Yugoslavia would cease to function as a federal state within a year, and will probably dissolve within 2, and that the violence would be intractable and bitter. Over the next few years, more than 100,000 people were killed and 2 million were forced to flee their homes. Neighbors who had lived peacefully together for generations started slaughtering each other. And you can question whether America is really comparable to other countries that had civil wars, but the basic pattern is developing. Countries don't usually collapse overnight, they break down slowly, then all at once, especially when foreign hostile countries do everything they can to make sure this happens. And singular violent events are proven to accelerate the trajectory, even in historical events as colossally huge as the fall of Rome.
This nigga Napoleon, bro. I don't like this nigga for multiple reasons, bro. Just seeing Napoleon pisses me off, bro. Fucking short ass piece of shit.
And World War I. But here's the thing though,
we don't give a fuck if he was the average height for his time. Nigga, 5'7" is short as fuck.
We need to speculate with historical parallels when we can see what's happening right now in America. Since 2024, approximately 2,000 National Guard troops have been deployed domestically. Trump signed an executive order directing the National Guard to create specialized military units to quell civil disturbances in American states.
This shit ain't gonna end well, bro. I'm just gonna let y'all know this shit now. Like, that shit ain't gonna end well, bro. Like, having people under such direct occupation from the state in which it is visible in every aspect of their life, this is going to inherently make people tired of the fucking government. I'm not gonna lie. And we are in month 9 of this administration, nigga. We got 3 more years of this shit. And it don't even matter if fucking he kicked the bucket. Vance is going to continue his fucking legacy. So, yeah.
All to be deployed at his command. Retired Major General Randy Manor, a former acting vice chief of the National Guard Bureau, said the administration is trying to desensitize the American people to get used to American armed soldiers in combat vehicles patrolling the streets of America.
What the fuck is this, bro? Bro, what type of third-rank bullshit, bro? Nah, bro.
Meanwhile, threats and harassment against local officials jumped over the past few years. The Capitol Police said they had more threats against members of Congress in 2024 than ever before, with even 2 attempts against Trump himself, when America was just inches away from Trump being dead. And then we can also look at how this division is affecting the population itself. Recent polling shows 65% of Americans feel exhausted when thinking about politics, 55% feel angry, and only 10% feel hopeful. Most troubling of all, 80% can't agree on basic facts anymore. Most critically, people oppose each other more harshly than ever. 43% of Republicans and 38% of Democrats hold very unfavorable views of the opposing party, up from just 17% and 16% in 1994. And this is where it gets so crazy with Charlie Kirk's assassination. When people live in completely different versions of reality, they start seeing political opponents not as fellow citizens with different views, but as existential threats that need to be taken out.
If you ask me as a leftist, if you ask me as a real nigga, what do I think? Democrats and Republicans are both existential threats to the world. because they're both Zionist and white supremacists. I believe all white supremacists are existential threats to the world that we live in. So it's not a difference of political opinion. It's a difference of white supremacy rhetoric, white supremacist rhetoric, that causes cataclysms and causes shit like what we saw with Mr. Necktap. Okay? It's just two far right niggas. It's just two extremely fucking reactionary factions of the far right fighting with each other and then doing what they do. Like that's what happens when you get inside of these far right circles thinking shit a game, bro. These niggas is not, bro. These niggas are just crazy. They're white geeks with guns.
All whipped up and catalyzed by our media environment that has basically created those parallel universes in tandem with social media. Take campus protest events, they regularly turn violent, require riot police and tactical gear to move people along, or the storming of the Capitol or the BLM riots. Depending on which news anyone consumes, they see completely different events. And we all know by now how social media and its algorithms play into this, as there's barely any money to be made from nuanced coverage that says this was complicated with multiple factors. Now you need two or more sides to contribute to any debate, but a healthy debate needs a middle ground, and that's what America has completely lost, mostly because of the
there's no type of like, okay, bro, I've had healthy debate before with other Marxists and other leftists. What we're seeing in this shit, bro, this is not healthy debate, bro. Like, stop trying to say that. Like, bro, Charlie Kirk will legitimately say black people don't deserve rights, and y'all niggas will be like, so that's a healthy debate talking point. Okay.
way the media treats issues, and completely dehumanizes those on each side of the political spectrum. And while this isn't exactly new, it's getting so much worse in the last couple of years. And this sort of violence has a nasty habit of snowballing. Take the 2011 shooting of Congresswoman Gabby Giffords.
Huh?
I said I'm about to bounce real quick.
Alright, bet. I'm probably only gonna be live to like 5:15. Yeah.
I heard. Alright, be safe.
Within hours of the tragedy, both political sides were blaming each other's rhetoric for creating the climate that led to the violence. The shooter turned out to be severely mentally ill with no real coherent political ideology, who actually voted for independence, and his friend said wasn't left alright, but that didn't stop the blame game for slogging on for weeks. When Martin Luther King was assassinated in 1968, things got way worse. Riots erupted in nearly 200 cities within hours. 43 people died, 3,500 were injured, and 27,000 were arrested over 10 days of violence. And the significance of this, though, was that 3 TV networks basically told the same story to the whole country. People could disagree about solutions while agreeing on basic facts, but America no longer has that luxury anymore, as we can quite clearly see from the world's reaction to Kirk's assassination. It's a horrifying thing to see, because back in 2021, MIT researchers working with the Club of Rome updated their modeling, and found that we were on track for, quote, the terminal decline of economic growth within the coming decade. In 2022, they put out the latest study called Earth for All that basically asked what happens if we keep doing what we're doing. And their answer wasn't exactly upbeat. They ran 2 scenarios through 2100, one where we model through too little too late, and one where we actually get our act together. The model through scenario shows well-being dropping by 40% in wealthy countries by the 2050s, with regional societal collapse becoming more likely as social tensions, food issues, and environmental problems start feeding each other. Today we're already half through 2025, and guess which scenario we're following? Yes, it's not the optimistic one. And this is all before just the recent events of the last month. And while plenty of people think that these researchers are just professional pessimists who've been predicting doom for decades, their track record has actually been pretty solid so far. But whether you believe their projections or not, the basic point is that when societies are already stressed on multiple fronts, economically, socially, environmentally, they become way more vulnerable to what researchers call chain reactions of bad events. One bad thing happens, then another, then another. But it's why it's clear that Kirk's assassination seems to be a huge tipping point in America, adding so much fuel to the fire of a country where 80% can't agree on the basic facts, where political violence is getting more calculated and targeted, where to be in politics and give your opinions in America means you have a very high chance of being killed, where our media, politics, and social media
being all a fascist in the open should never be something that should be celebrated or validated as a political opinion or validated as just politics. That's all I'm gonna fucking say. And I'm finna start reading Rest of the Earth because I think Frantz Fanon speaks to this. Yeah, he's clueless as fuck. It's clueless as fuck. Hold up, bro. These outlets be pissing me off, bro. There we go. All right, let's get into it. Frantz Fanon, a wretched of the earth. I mean, shit. We can just get right into it. We don't gotta read the preface and shit. Concerning violence. I posted this quote like the fucking like when the shit happened. I posted this quote. National liberation, national resistance, the restoration of nationhood to the people, commonwealth, whatever may be the headings used or the new formulas introduced, decolonization is always a violent phenomenon. At whatever level we study it, relationships between individuals, new names for sports clubs, the human admixture at cocktail parties, and the police on the directing boards of national or private banks, decolonization is quite simply the replacing of a certain species of men by another species of men. Without any period of transition, there's a total, complete, and absolute substitution. It is true that we could equally well stress the rise of a new nation, the setting up of a new state, its diplomatic relations, and its economic and political trends, but we have precisely chosen to speak of that kind of tabula rasa which characterizes at the outset of all decolonization. Its unusual importance is that it constitutes from the very first day the minimum demands of the colonized. To tell the truth, the proof of success lies in a whole social structure being changed from the bottom up. The extraordinary importance of this change is that is willed, called for, demanded. The need for this change exists in its crude state, impetuous and compelling in the consciousness and in the lives of the men and women who are colonized. But the possibility of this change is equally experienced in the form of a terrifying future in the consciousness of another species of men and women, the colonizers. Decolonization, which sets out to change the order of the world, is obviously a program of complete disorder, but it cannot come as a result of magical practices, nor of a natural shock, nor of a friendly understanding. Decolonization, as we know it, is a historical process. That is to say that it cannot be understood, it cannot be intelligible nor clear to itself, except in the exact measure that we can discern the movements which give it historical form and content. Decolonization is the meeting of two forces opposed to each other by the very nature, which in fact owe their originality to that sort of substantification. Ah, damn, this nigga Frantz was using big ass words. Which results from and is nourished by the situation in the colonies. Their first encounter was marked by violence, and their existence together, that is to say, the exploitation of the native by the settler, was carried on by the dint of a great array of bayonets and cannons. So what Frantz is conveying right here is that the relationship between the colonized and the colonizer is going to be violent. It's going to be violent. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be one of those things in which the only reason why colonialism is able to be set up is that the colonized were met with bayonets. You know what I'm saying? They were forcefully displaced from their land for the means of political, economic, and any other reasons and reasonings that the colonizer had. You know what I'm saying? So these people are forcibly removed and displaced. This is an act of violence within itself. You feel me? So when motherfuckers be like, political violence, nigga, the country and the state was conscripted off of political violence. It was conscripted off of violence. The relationship between the colonized and the colonizer is fucking violent. Like, oh my God. Oh my God. It is violent. This is why you have police, etc., nigga. You know what I'm saying? The settler and the native are old acquaintances. In fact, the settler is right when he speaks of knowing them well. For it is the settler who has brought the native into existence and who perpetuates his existence. The settler owes the fact of his very existence, that is to say his property, to the colonial system. So the reason why the fucking colonizer can even exist is because of the colonial structure. You get what I'm saying? The only reason why we have this relationship between colonizer and colonized is because of the colonial system. The colonizer owes his whole existence to this colonial system. That's why they avidly fight to keep it keep it up. Excuse me. Decolonization never takes place unnoticed, for it influences individuals and modifies them fundamentally. It transforms spectators crushed with their inessentiality into privileged actors. With the grandiose glare of history's floodlights upon them, it brings a natural rhythm into existence, introduced by new men, and with it a new language and a new humanity. Decolonization is the veritable creation of new men, but this creation owes nothing of its illegitimacy to any supernatural power. The quote-unquote thing which has been colonized becomes man during the same process in which it frees itself. In decolonization, there is therefore the need of the complete calling into question of the colonial situation. If we wish to describe it precisely, we might find it in the well-known words, the last shall be first and the first last. Decolonization is the putting into practice of the sentence. That is why, if we try to describe it, all decolonization is successful. The naked truth of decolonization evokes for us the searing bullets and bloodstained knives which emanate from it. For if the last shall be first, this will only come to pass after a murderous and decisive struggle between the two protagonists. That affirmed intention to place the last at the head of the things and to make them climb at a pace too quickly, some say. The well-known steps which characterize an organized society can only triumph if we use all means to turn the scale, including, of course, that of violence. You do not turn any society, however primitive it may be, upside down with such a program if you're not going to have to decide it from the very beginning. That is to say, from the actual formulation of that program to overcome all the obstacles that you will come across in doing so, the native who decides to put the program into practice and to become its moving force is ready for violence at all times. From birth, it is clear to him that this narrow world strewn with prohibitions can only be called into question by absolute violence. The colonial world is a world divided into compartments. It is probably unnecessary to recall the existence of native quarters and European quarters, of schools for natives and schools for Europeans, in the same way we need to not recall apartheid in South Africa. Yet if we examine closely the system of compartments, we will at least be able to reveal the lines of the force it implies. This approach to the colonial world is ordering, and its geographical layout will allow us to mark out the lines on which decolonized society will be reorganized. The colonial world is a world cut in two. The dividing line, the frontiers, are shown by barracks and police stations. In the colonies, it is the policeman and the soldier who are the official instituted go-betweens, the spokesman of the settler and his rule of oppression. In capitalist societies, the educational system, whether lay or clerical, the structure of moral reflexes handed down from the father to the son, the exemplary honesty of workers who are giving a medal after 50 years of good and loyal service, and the affection which springs from the harmonious relations and good behavior. All these aesthetic expressions of respect for the established order serve to create around the exploited person an atmosphere of submission and inhibition which lightens the task of policing considerably. I fucking hate Nick Fuentes. But what was I finna say? So you see here that the colonial superstructure, or the colonial apparatus, whatever the fuck you want to call it, is kept in turn, it is kept in order, is kept in structure by things like the police, military, all of these things in which are conscripted for the gains of capital. You know what I'm saying? So where was I? In the capitalist countries, a multitude of moral teachers, counselors, and bewilderers separate the exploited from those in power. In the colonial countries, on the contrary, the policeman and the soldier, by their immediate presence and their frequent and direct action, maintain contact with the native and advise him by the means of the rifle butts and napalm not to budge. So the police and the military are the physical manifestations of state power, if that makes sense. State authority. You know what I'm saying? State repression. The physical manifestations of those are the police, or the, you know what I'm saying, is the colonial state. The intermediary does not lighten the oppression nor seek to hide the domination. He shows them up and puts them into practice with the clear conscience of an upholder of the peace. Yet he is the bringer of violence into the home and into the mind of the native. The zone where the natives live is not complementary to the zone inhabited by the settlers. The two zones are opposed, but not in service of a higher unity. Obedient to the rules of pure Aristotelian logic, they both follow the principle of reciprocal exclusivity. No consolation is possible for of the two terms. One is superfluous, and the settler's town is strongly built town, all made of stone and steel. It is a brightly lit town. The streets are covered with asphalt, and the garbage cans swallow all the leavings unseen. Unknown and hardly thought about, the settler's feet are never visible except perhaps in the sea, but there you are never close enough to see them. His feet are protected by strong shoes, although the streets of his town are clean and even, with no holes or stones. The settler's town is a well-fed town, an easygoing town. Its belly is always full of good things. The settler's town is a town full of white people, of foreigners. So basically what France is saying here is that this even goes back to the decorations and the medals, the military medals. The colonial state will take care of the people who are doing its bidding, the people who are able to be deputized, the people who are committing these acts of violence against the native, aka black, indigenous people, or whoever's colonized. The town belonging to the colonized people, or at least a native town, the Negro village, the Medina, the reservation, is a place of ill fame. People by the men of evil repute. They are born there. It matters little where or how they die there. It matters not where nor how. It is a world without spaciousness. Men live there on top of each other, and their huts are built one on top of each other. The native town is a hungry town, starved of bread, of meat, of shoes, of coal, of light. The native town is a crouching village, a town on its knees, a town wallowing in the mire. It is a town full of niggers and dirty Arabs. The look that the native turns on the settler's town is a look of lust, a look of envy. It expresses his dreams of possession, all manner of possession, to sit at the settler's table, to sleep in the settler's bed, with his wife if possible. The colonized man is an envious man, and this the settler knows very well. When their glances meet, he ascertains bitterly, always on the defensive. They want to take our place. It is true, for there is no native who does not want to dream at least one day of setting himself up in the settler's place. Obama, the Cory Booker, all you coon ass niggas. So yeah, you can even see France is critiquing the native in this and saying that the native is acceptable to the colonization. You know what I'm saying? The native is not infallible in this system. The native can undoubtedly join in on and participate and advocate and actually want to become the colonizer themselves. You know what I'm saying? Takes on the robe of the colonizer. This is something that's normal, that happens all the time. You feel me? You feel me? You feel me? This is just something that happens within our world. Where was I? Oh, the world is divided into compartments. This world cut in two is inhabited by two different species. The originality of the colonial context is that economic reality, inequality, and the immense difference of ways of life never come to mass in human realities. It is evident that what parcels out the world is to begin with the fact of belonging to or not belonging to a given race, a given species. In the colonies, the economic substructure is also a superstructure. The cause is the consequence. You are rich because you are white. You are white because you are rich. This is why Marxist analysis should always be slightly stretched every time we have to do with the colonial problem. But hey, tell a fucking Leninist or fucking dogmatic Marxist that shit. They'll motherfucking call you an identity pole. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro. Everything up to and including the very nature of pre-capitalist society, so well explained by Marx, must be here thought out again. The surf is in essence different from the night, but a reference to divine right is necessary to legitimize this statutory difference. In the colonies, the foreigner coming from another country imposed his rule by means of guns and machines. In defiance of his successful transplantation, in spite of his appropriation, the settler still remains a foreigner. It is neither the act of owning factories nor estates nor a bank balance which distinguishes the governing class. The governing races, first and foremost, those who come from elsewhere, those who are unlike the original inhabitants, the others. The violence which has ruled over the ordering of the colonial world, which has ceasingly drummed the rhythm for the destruction of the native social forms and broken up without reserve the systems of reference of the economy, the customs of dress and external life, that the same violence will be claimed and taken over by the native at the moment when deciding to embody history in his own person. He surges into forbidden quarters. To wreck the colonial world is henceforth a mental picture of action, which is very clear, very easy to understand, and which may be assumed by each one of the individuals which constitute the colonized people. To break up the colonial world does not mean that after the frontiers have been abolished, lines of communications will be set up between the two zones. The destruction of the colonial world is no more and no less the abolition of one zone, its burial in the death of the earth, or its expulsion from the country. The natives' challenge to the colonial world is not rational confrontation of points of view. It is the treatise on the universal. But the untidy... Wait. My fucking eyes playing tricks on me. Oh my God. But the untidy affirmation of an original idea propounded as an absolute. The colonial world is a Manchean world. It is not enough for the settler to delimit physically. That is to say, with the help of the army and the police force, the place of the native. As if to show the totalitarian character of the colonial exploitation, the settler paints the native as some sort of quintessence of evil. You know what I'm saying? This is why they other us. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is why they're like, this motherfucker is the othering of society. This motherfucker is, you know what I'm saying, not of this world. This motherfucker is a super predator, a thug, you know what they be calling us in the media. So this is what France is talking about. Undoubtedly, this is what France is talking about. Native society is not simply described as a society lacking in values. It is not enough for the colonists to affirm that these values have disappeared from, or still better, never existed in, the colonial world. The native is declared insensible to the ethics. He represents not only the absence of values, but also the negation of values. He is, let us dare to admit, the enemy of values, and in this sense he is absolutely evil. He is the coercive element, destroying all that comes near him. He is the deforming element, disfiguring all that has to do with beauty or morality. He is the depository of maleficent powers. Forces on the next line. The unconscious and irretrievable instrument of blind forces. Monsieur Meyer could thus state seriously in the French National Assembly that the Republic must not be prostituted by allowing. And I think this is a citation from Black Skin, White Mass, actually. By allowing the Algerian people to become a part of it. So France is talking about his perspective, because I believe at this point he's dying and they're fighting or have fought for Algerian independence. I don't know if they won yet. The Algerian people to become part of it. All values, in fact, are irrevocably poisoned and disease as soon as they are allowed in contact with the colonized race. The customs of all of the colonized people, their traditions, their myth above all, their myths are the very site of the poverty of spirit and their constitutional depravity. That is why we must put the DDT, which destroys parasites, the bearers of disease. The DDT actually banned now, y'all. I don't know if y'all know that shit. That shit was used for like bed bugs and shit, and that shit ended up causing cancer on some niggas, and now they gotta ban that shit. That's how long this book was written ago. The bearers of disease on the same level as a Christian religion which wages war on embryotic heresies and instincts and on evil as yet unborn. The recession of yellow fever and the advance of evangelization form part of the same balance sheet, but the triumphant communiques from the missions are in fact a source of information concerning the implantation of foreign influences in the core of the colonized people. I speak of the Christian religion, and no one has to be astonished. The church in the colonies is the white people's church, the foreign church. She does not call the native to God's ways, but to the ways of the white man, the master, the oppressor. Oh my fucking God! It's almost like, hey bro, didn't I just make a video about this shit yesterday, bro? I just made a video about this shit yesterday, bro. And this is a reread for me, bro. I wasn't even thinking about Russia to the Earth, bro. This is what I'm saying, bro. If you are a principled just historian who is a Marxist, who has a decolonial lens, you will come to the same conclusions and you will come to the same, you know what I'm saying, things over and over and over again. Theory is legitimately just the fucking... Theory is just like study, like restudy. I call this shit restudy. I call that shit restudy, bro. I told that nigga he watched my video with China's dick in his mouth. I mean, he did, bro. No bullshit. But yeah, I think they used to use them against mosquitoes, too. At the times, this Manchurianism goes to its logical conclusion and dehumanizes the native, or to speak plainly, it turns him into an animal. In fact, the terms the settler uses when he mentions the native are zoological terms. Monkey. You know what I'm saying? Monkey, gorilla. This is what they all call niggas. He speaks of the yellow man's reptilian motion, of the stink of the native quarter, of breeding swarms, of foulness, of spawn, of gesticulations. Man, he using words we don't use no more. When the settler seeks to describe the native fully intact in exact terms, he constantly refers to the bestiary. The European rarely hits on the picturesque style, but the native who knows what is in mind of the settler guesses at once what is he thinking of. Those hordes of vital statistics, those hysterical masses, those faces bereft of all humanity, those distended bodies which are like nothing on earth, that mob without beginning or end. Those children who seem to belong to nobody, that laziness stretched out in the sun, that vegetable rhythm of life, all this forms part of the colonial vocabulary. General de Gaulle speaks of the yellow multitudes and Francois Maurrac. Man, I fucking hate French, bro. Francois. Like, get the fuck out of here, Francois. You ugly as shit, Francois. Mauriac. Of the black, brown, and yellow masses which soon will be unleashed. The native knows all of this and laughs to himself every time he spots an allusion to the animal world in the other's words. For he knows that he is not an animal, and it is precisely at that moment he realizes his humanity that he begins to sharpen the weapons with which he will secure its victory. As soon as the native begins to pull on his moorings and to cause anxiety to the settler, he is handed over to the well-meaning souls who in cultural progression point out to him the specificity and wealth of Western values. But every time Western values are mentioned, they produce in the native a sort of stiffening or muscular lockjaw. During the period of decolonization, the native's reason is appealed to. He is offered definite values. He is told frequently that decolonization needs not to mean regression, and that he must put his trust in the qualities which are well tried, solid, and highly esteemed. But it so happens that when the native hears a speech about Western culture, he pulls out his knife, or at least he makes sure it is within reach. The violence with which the supremacy of white values is affirmed, and the aggressiveness which has permeated the victory of the values over the ways of life and of thought in the native mean that in revenge, the native laughs in mockery when Western values are mentioned in front of him. In the colonial context, a settler only ends his way of breaking in the native when the latter admits loudly and intelligibly the supremacy of the white man's values. In the period of decolonization, the colonized masses mock at these very values, insult them, and vomit them up. This phenomenon is ordinarily masked because during the period of decolonization, certain colonized intellectuals have begun a dialogue with the bourgeois of the colonial country. During this phase, the indigenous population is discerned only as an indistinct mass. The few native personalities whom the colonial bourgeois have come to know here and there have not sufficient influence on their immediate discernment to give rise to nuances. On the other hand, during the period of liberation, the colonialist bourgeoisie looks feverishly for contacts with the elite, and it is with these elite that the familiar dialogue concerning values is carried on. The colonialist bourgeois, when it realizes that it is impossible for it to maintain its domination over the colonial countries, decides to carry out a rear-regard action with regard to cultural values, techniques, and so on. Now, what we must never forget is that the immense majority of colonized people is oblivious to these problems. For a colonized people, the most essential value, because it is most concrete, is first and foremost the land which will bring them bread and above all dignity. But this dignity has nothing to do with the dignity of the human individual, for the human individual has never heard to tell of it. All that the native has seen in this country is that they can freely arrest him, beat him, starve him, and no professor of ethics, no priest has ever come to be beaten in his place, nor to share their bread with him. As far as a native is concerned, morality is very concrete. It is to silence the settlers' defiance, to break the flaunted violences in the world, to put them out of the picture. The well-known principle that all men are created equal will be illustrated in the colonies from the moment that the native claims that he is equal of the settler. One step more, and he is ready to fight to become more than the settler. In fact, he has already decided to eject him and take this place as we see it. It is the whole material and moral universe which is breaking up. The intellectual who, for his part, has followed the colonialist with regard to the universal abstract, will fight in order that the settler and the native may live together in peace in the new world. But the thing he does not see, precisely because he is permeated by colonialism and all its ways of thinking, is that the settler, from the moment that the colonial context disappears, has no longer any interest in remaining or coexisting. It is not by chance that even before any negotiation between the Algerian and French governments has taken place, the European minority, which calls itself quote-unquote liberal, has already made its positions clear. It demands nothing more nor less than twofold citizenship. By setting themselves apart in an abstract manner, the liberals try to force the settler into taking a very concrete jump into the unknown. Let us admit it. The settler knows perfectly well that no phraseology can be a substitute for reality. Thus, the native discovers that his life, his breath, his beating, his heart are the same as those of the settler. He finds out that the settler's skin is not any more valuable than a native skin, and it must be said that this discovery shakes the world in a very necessary manner. All the new revolutionary assurance of the native stems from it. For if in fact my life is worth as much as the settler's, his glance no longer shrivels me up nor freezes me. His voice no longer turns me into a stone. I am no longer the tether and hooks in his presence. In fact, I don't give a damn for him. Not only does his presence no longer trouble me, but I'm already preparing such efficient ambushes for him that soon there will be no way out but that of flight. We have said that the colonial context is characterized by the dichotomy which it imposes upon the whole people. Oh, wait. Because I'll probably finish the rest of this probably tomorrow. We on page like 45, chat. 46, actually. We read 10 pages. I want to finish off stream with like a little video real quick. Wait, did bro call me? I was finna say. I was finna say again. I'm hoping I ain't missed this call. Hold up, we can end with this chat. I want to see what's up.
I'm Atrell Nashar in Washington. TikTok appears to be on track to continue operating in the United States. By law, the Chinese-owned app must change ownership or risk a ban in the U.S. But Trump administration officials say they've reached a framework with Chinese counterparts to keep the app up and running. It's been a year of anxiety and confusion for TikTokers who make a living off the app and those who just love to scroll.
I don't want it to go anywhere. I don't want it to get banned.
Get real. It's really...
Shit getting banned on 17th? We're like, come on, bro. Like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Y'all niggas did this shit in January, bro.
About to happen.
Ahead of Wednesday's deadline for TikTok to be spun off from its Chinese parent company ByteDance, President Trump posting on social media about trade talks with China Monday morning. A deal was also reached on a certain company that young people in our country very much wanted to save. They will be very happy. I will be speaking to President Xi on Friday. The relationship remains a very strong one. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and U.S. Trade Rep Jamieson Greer in Madrid meeting with their Chinese counterparts for this latest round of talks.
The framework is for it to switch to U.S. controlled ownership. But again, I'm not going to get ahead of the leaders' call on Friday. We have a framework. They'll have to confirm the deal.
This is all necessary because of a national security law requiring that TikTok be sold to an owner in a country that's not an adversary of the U.S. The law passed on a broad bipartisan basis in spring
get these niggas to sell this shit to Israel, bro.
Of 2024.
The yeas are 352, the nays are 65.
Over concerns Americans' data can be accessed by the Chinese Communist Party because under Chinese law, companies must comply with CCP operations. Recently, President Trump, who believes TikTok helped him win young voters, brushed that off.
Are you no longer concerned about privacy concerns or national?
Like, this is what I'm saying, bro. This nigga's not real, bro. Look at this fucking hat, bro. Like, bro, don't fucking piss me off. Bro, this is not a real fucking person, bro. I refuse to believe, like, this nigga's serious, bro. He cannot be. Trump was right about like, imagine your ego being that fucking huge, bro. That you're speaking about yourself in third person while wearing your fucking hat and wearing your merch. While being a billionaire.
Security problems?
I'm really not. I think it's highly overrated.
The Chinese government has the ultimate say on whether a deal can go through. It's certainly been a bargaining chip in broader ongoing trade talks. And complicating matters, on Monday, Chinese regulators claimed that U.S. chipmaker NVIDIA violated an anti-monopoly law. Secretary Bessent says he told his Chinese counterparts it's poor timing. In Washington, I'm Atra Al-Nashar.
All right, bro. I want to actually watch this shit, too. Hit me with an ad, bro.
This waterway is powering the rivalry between China and the US. Because the Panama Canal is crucial to global trade, both are craving a piece of it. China has been investing in Panama, but it was the US that built the canal and ran it for decades. And now, wants back in.
War! Dragons! War! Dragons!
But people in Panama do not like this idea.
Por favor, no jalemos a Panamá un problema de dos gigantes que no nos toca.
So let's look at how Panama and its canal got caught up in this competition. Your next smartphone or your next outfit could be passing through here, the Panama Canal.
Yeah, bro, anti-monopoly laws, right?
It's a shortcut between two oceans.
This is a colonial structure in itself, the Panama Canal. For y'all that don't know, it's a colonial structure.
We're talking weeks shorter than going all the way around South America. And that's especially important for the United States. Most of these ships are heading to, from, or between US ports, making the US the #1 user of the canal, by far. That might explain why Donald Trump is so obsessed with it.
China is operating the Panama Canal, and we're taking it back.
Mentira, total. Lo que está buscando es robarse el canal de Panamá por los beneficios económicos que el canal implica en este momento.
This is Euclides Tapia from the University of Panama.
Paralelo a eso, irrumpe China. Y eso le da todavía mucho más valor económico al canal.
China is the Panama Canal's second biggest user. When ships use the canal, they always pass these two ports. Both ports are operated by Hong Kong-based company CK Hutchison, meaning they could theoretically come under Chinese government influence.
The Panama Canal was built by Americans for Americans, not
It's a colonial project. Shit. It's Trump.
For others.
Where did that come from? The Panama Canal, and even the state of Panama, might not exist without the US. time for a trip to the past. The US helped Panama break away from Colombia in 1903. The deal was simple. We'll support your independence, and you give us the rights to build and operate the canal.
Panamá nació como un protectorado de los Estados Unidos.
The US took over a failed project from the French. But it was mostly people from the Caribbean who actually did the dangerous work. The Panama Canal wound up being one of the most expensive construction projects in US history. And it wasn't just US built. For decades, the Panama Canal Zone was effectively US territory, with US military facilities on both sides. The American way of life was on full display. And if there was any doubt about who was in charge, the events of 1989 put Panama in its place. Panama's military dictator Manuel Noriega turned against Washington. The result? The US invaded. Noriega was sent to a US prison for drug trafficking. Hundreds of civilians were killed during the invasion.
The history of the canal has been very controversial. I think that there's always been some clashes in certain segments of the society. There's been some anti-imperialism, anti-US sentiment.
This is Maria Fernanda Bosmoski. She works for the Atlantic Council, a US think tank. But in 1999, Panamanians were finally celebrating. For the first time in history, Panama had complete control over the Panama Canal.
Estados Unidos devolvió a la República de Panamá todo, la tierra, el canal, todo, absolutamente todo. O sea, Panamá recuperó su soberanía en todo el territorio nacional.
There's even a monument reminding Panamanians of the historic handshake that paved the way for sovereignty. But the treaties Panama and the US signed came with a catch.
Like, what the? Like, come on, dog. Come on, dog. Yeah, I'm not finna, nigga. The United States ain't finna just leave somewhere, bro.
The US potentially has the right to intervene in Panama if it considers the canal security at risk.
Nigga, that's not sovereignty. The fuck? That's like, bro. That's like a nigga. That's like a nigga breaking in your shit, bro. Telling you, okay, I'm gonna leave, but if I feel like, you know what I'm saying, some shit fucked up in your crib, I'm just gonna come back. What the?
Even after the US pulled back, it kept a foot in the door.
Niggas is always there, bro.
So did that leave an opening for China? Like many places, Panama City has a Chinatown. Its archway was renovated in 2016. But what's interesting here is that Taiwan helped pay for the renovation, not China.
We're gonna leave off on that note. Interesting cliffhanger. Taiwan was them niggas. But I'm finna go chat. I should be on here tomorrow. Quite literally should be on here tomorrow. So I'll be on here tomorrow. Have a nice night. Have a good evening, you all. Stay safe out there. And I will talk to you all later. I'll see you all tomorrow. Probably same time. Bye.